Good morning, CNG 132, midweek check-in for week 10. Yeah, John, I answered your question. Viral, thank you for backing up John's question. You guys are correct. This is actually week 10. Since the spring breaks are differentiated, yeah, Larimer goes on campus, or goes on spring break first, and then the following week, Boulder goes on campus, and then we come back together in this week 10. Let's see, I believe it was Wes and John mentioned the lab content. And you guys are right that this week's labs do take more time simply because we are using RIP and we're using router config 2, but the labs are only, I think, around 4 and 5 pages long, and they're not... I don't give you guys everything. You have to jump back a lab in order to make sure you get everything done. And when I say jump back a lab, you're going into lab 15 last week to get the basic setup to progress into router 2 config, which the how to build a network using Cisco Packet Tracer helps you do that. And I wanted to go over something else with you guys, a notepad. I know I started doing it with the face-to-face class more, but didn't really tell you guys this option. So if you open Notepad or Notepad++, you could start creating a setup script for your router. Some of the first entries that we do are enable, config T, and then we're starting to look at, let's take a look at 15. So we look at some of the commands that we're entering. Configure terminal, host name, router 0, we can enter the do show IP briefs and do show run or show run. Remember, depending on where we're at in the levels of command, executive or world, we're going to have to change that command just a little bit. Let's see, we can say interface gigabit 000, and I'll see if I can do this a quick way. Go back to my notepad, copy paste that in there. Of course, we can definitely shorten that up, right, to just Z00 or int G001. For IP addresses, we know the IP address is out of here. Copy IP V. And you can, once again, shorten this up here, IP add. And no shut. Yeah, so if I were to take and copy paste this into my terminal on my PC that's accessing the router through that console port, that router is basically going to configure itself with a host name of router 0, because that's what we put. It's going to configure the Ethernet gigabit interface 000 with this IP address. It's going to put the no shutdown. We could then put in the exit, and let's see, we can start that going down to the serial interface. Once again, you can do this with the entire lab so that the only things you're changing are the IPs and the subnet mask. Oh, look at that subnet mask. Doing that with the subnet mask so that your making less work for yourself in the long run. You can even start to change your router names by just a click. And once you have the template set up, it's easy to manipulate for lab use. Very, very easy way to do this. And if you have questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help you guys with setting up some sort of a script with your Word docs. There are also tons of content out there because this is not a new way to do things. It's actually the most efficient way to do stuff, just because you're not relying so much on your human error. You're kind of just copying and pasting the information and putting it into the router config. With that, good work so far. Keep on working hard. And remember, you can put anything in this the script that you have. At the end, you could do a copy run start, which you should do, a write mem, a do copy run start. You can show your running configs just to make sure you have everything configured right at the end of this. So once again, if we got done, copy, and then say we're at the very end after we had our serial support or our serial port done. We do show running config, and we see all this information and say, okay, yeah, it's set up because I can see everything set up correctly on the serial and gigabit interface. So have a good week. Yeah, I'll probably check in with you guys once more before the weekend starts, and I'll see you next week, Monday.